Hey guys, today we are going to be looking at how to create a panorama image using Lightroom CC. Now it wasn't too long ago that Lightroom did not have this feature, and it was only Photoshop for the last handful of years that was able to create panoramas that came from raw files without too much difficulty. There were third-party applications that did this, but with the inclusion of panorama feature in Lightroom, you get some really good benefits. The first thing is that it creates a raw file with all of the benefits of a raw file rather than a rendered TIFF or PSD file. So let's take a look at the images we're going to work with today. I have these 4 images from Utah, and they were shot with a 100mm lens on a Canon 5D. If we look at these, we will see that I have not enabled any profile correction because Lightroom does this automatically when you merge using the Photomerge feature. So we're not going to mess with that right now. Some things come across very specific corrections, do not. Global corrections to the image, like exposure, those will apply to the raw file, but these have not been touched. So let's get started because this is a really easy feature. We have selected these by clicking on them, holding down Shift, and clicking on the last one. We're going to go to Photo, Photomerge, Panorama, or you can hit Control M. A very simple dialog box with a preview. It is a scalable box. On Retina displays, it goes to 2048 pixels. On non-Retina displays, it's something like half that, right around 1000. But you can scale it to some degree so you can see the preview. Auto crop was turned on in this case. That just gets rid of any sort of misalignment. Now I didn't shoot these with a tripod. I just stood really still, and a few things to do when you get ready to shoot these. I knew I was going to create a panorama with these, and it would have been easy just to pop on my wide angle lens and shoot 2 frames and merge it later. However, in thinking about how I wanted to capture this vista, I wanted to shoot with a longer lens so that the relative field of view was narrower so that I didn't get a really distorted final result. So because I shot this with a 100mm lens, each image didn't feel as wide, but when combined, you get a wider end result with less distortion than you would if you were to shoot it with a 17 or a 20 or something like that. You also need to make sure that you overlap the images. These I overlapped around 30%, I believe. 30 to 40. And the feature, as you know, this was shot 10 years ago. With every iteration of the panorama feature, whether it's in Photoshop or now in Lightroom, it gets better. You will notice that there are 3 options, and it really has to do with just how Photoshop looks at these files. Spherical, cylindrical, and perspective. Depending on the subject matter and depending on how wide you've shot your subjects, we can look at these and go, okay, which one looks the best? Sometimes there's going to be dramatic differences. This has to do with Photoshop looks at each image and maps it on a sphere or the inside of a cylinder, or it looks at perspective, and this will tend to give you a little bit more of a bow tie effect where the middle image is smaller and these stretch out, and sometimes it's really extreme depending on the type of subject you have. This is a long view. If you're shooting closer and wider angle, you're going to get much more distortion. So this is really, it ends up being a visual choice. In this case, I think spherical is going to be the one. I'm going to click auto crop. Not going to mess with this at all. That just has to do with just rotating a little bit. I'm just going to crop it. So I think it's pretty straight. Then you hit merge. Now all it's going to do is create an actual DNG file. It's a raw file from these original 4 images. The actual file is over 10,000, almost 11,000 pixels wide. So this was a 12 megapixel capture originally, times 4. The end result is nearly 11,000 pixels wide, which you can do a lot of stuff with this. I'm going to show a couple final results of that one. I actually like the black and white one quite a lot. It takes a minute to load. And now you can edit it however you see fit. I've cropped that one a little different and edited this one in Photoshop a little bit more. So there it is. You can go out and give it a try. I'm also going to include a little bit of a speed edit of how I edited this version and this version. So you can see a little bit how I think and how you can use Lightroom to really make your images shine. Get out there and have fun.